A lot of interesting things have happened in the world, or is it just in the US? But I can tell you, everybody has been glued from all around the world about the election that is happening in the US. So depends on where you're at. Depends on how your views are. Your voice does matter regardless of what it is. Um, and so, what does it make a difference in your own home? Hey, there's Kevin. So, what does it mean to you? Your inner world creates your outer world. See, I have no idea where they're going with this, but I'm going to run with it. Your inner world creates your outer world, and your inner world is telling you it's split. It's 50-50, or it is there's only black or white, or there's a linear, or there's only two choices. But there's actually more than that. I did a meditation in tribal to help those to align with um, to that door, to that, because a lot of people don't want to open that door for a new beginning, but they also don't want to close the door from the past because they look at the door to the new beginning as an end. Doesn't mean that it has to be an end. It is that next adventure. But we are taught the fear, the unknown. We have learned from old paradigms that there's things that we don't know that we should learn. And as that information comes forward, then there is the other energies, mud sticks, whether it's the truth or not. And it depends on whose perspective is the truth. Is it real or unreal? And is it real to some and unreal to others? Are you borrowing past experiences that with fear that can make you feel like you are leading up to a moment in time where, oh my God, it's going to repeat itself? Well, the energy of how you know something, and again, it's not your ego mindset, it is your divine mind, it is that authentic self. I kind of knew that when we were finishing up and doing a transition, when you started to watch years ago how who's going to become president, the upsetting the apple cart, things are going to have to happen. The old way of being in charge and stuff like this just is not supposed to be the same. So stuff has to come to the surface. Being in Australia versus living in Michigan, every day you were bombarded by ads, the conditioning of your own household. This is the way you're supposed to vote. This is this is the right way to do it. And then you have the conditioning of the ads, depending on what channel you listen to. So there's been a lot of things that it can be very eye-opening. As I live in Australia, I'm looking and seeing how Fox News, I feel looks like it's owned by somebody that has an opinion, or it's being persuaded by an opinion. But is it the correct opinion? Is it a healthy opinion? Is it skewing the other side? And a lot of throwing under the bus, and a lot of, what does my husband call it? I don't remember what it is, but it's like the wonder lie. And I've experienced this several times growing up. And one of them was with my own family member, literally dropping a Kleenex in front of me. And I said, oh, please pick that up. What? I'm like, hey, and I said, you dropped this. I said, please pick it up and be responsible for the energy that you are putting out there. But it was like, what are you talking about? I don't know. And I pointed out, and to the point where I picked it up, and okay, good. Well, you know where the trash is. Then there is deny. Life goes on. Who gets stuck holding the Kleenex? Who gets stuck holding that? There's sleights of mouth, there's sleight of hand, there is the way that we can sit there and think and be. So I feel like November 11th is a very important gateway. And Spirit, I know I'm running out of time, but Spirit is pushing and pushing to some degree that I do on November 11th at least a 20-minute to an hour session for those that want it. And and there'll be a small cost for it. But the thing is that it's a meditation. It'll be to explain a few things, but to help you get into a line with this future, regardless if your inner world is showing that there's feuds, that there's conflicts, there's different points of view, that there's the right and wrong, that you're waking up to, wait a minute, that hasn't happened, or that has happened, but that's borrowed, or that's someone's opinion and someone's fear. That is, nothing is really written in stone. So you start to learn that there's a potential out there. And if you understand timelines like I do, what's something that you think should be written or has been written can change because it depends on which alignment of the dimensional alignment you're choosing to be in. So even though you may be lying right here, give it 5 minutes and a thought can change it. Light codes can come on, which is the part of you that begins to wake up, and it's not you in your own doing, but it is part of the code of your fractal that way helps wake you up. You give it 5 minutes and you'll be surprised at how all of a sudden the alignment you had is way over there because you have realigned to something new. So even though the election and all of this, it's like, I have to pick a lesser of two evils, or I've got to do. You don't live out here. If you're waking up, you're starting to realize that the out here is the sum total of things that you've gathered, you have rejected, or you have accepted. You're losing power. You get 100% life force power. Where are you placing it? You start to begin to, okay, even if this looks like it's real, are you denying it? Or are you sitting there being asleep? Ignorance is bliss. Which type of language are you listening to? This is where you start to go inside, listen with your heart, find your authentic self. It's a personal journey. As you begin to do this, your energy cord that goes out will help you come in alignment, and it always has and always will come into the alignment of your thinking, of your emotions, because emotions are magnetic and thoughts are electrical. And the more the magnetic field you have, whether you're fearful or I can only see it this way, what will happen is you'll start to contract in, but you always will be aligned, whether it's good or bad, in between. Part of that meditation I want to do is going to help you align on a different energetic frequency. So those parts of you kind of come into agreement for the highest good for you, making it so that it's better than you'll ever know. Because I have created my space and it's better than I've ever could have created on my own. Hormones will be a big factor in how you see your filters and how you don't see your filters. It is, that can play a major influence, and hormones have everything to do with that emotional magnetic field. My electricity was off yesterday, that everything I touched, even plastic, I'd get the snap. I'm like, oh my God. Okay, so I've been going through a lot. I had the pinched nerve and the swelling in my neck, which caused me to have nerve twitches every 2 seconds, and it was driving me batty because the pain started to increase. I began to do mind over matter, energy work, all of this, and eventually I had to, because it was so intense, I ended up using prescription drugs, which is fine, but they didn't tell me that this was addictive. So when I'm feeling better, I stopped the drug. What happened? My body went into withdrawals. I could not figure out what the hell was going on. I'm still having a little bit of it, but I have to keep rebalancing my hypothalamus because the regulator energy is all messed up. So I have to rebalance the regulator energy. I have to rebalance the hypothalamus. I have to turn the triple warmer off and say, shh, it's okay. It's all right. And, I'm getting better. But misery, emotions, feelings, which are different than emotions, Sensations will drive you as your motivator to what it is and where you're going and how you're doing it. So I have learned to become in check. Do I really need to go there? Even if that seems my reality, does it have to be, or is it really true? And I have to say, I'm getting better and better at understanding what's going on with me physically from a perspective of what my emotional alignment is. Those deeper things that you have to look at. You think that like, oh, I have no connection to the past on that one. And then the universe says, oh, your energy field, your magnetic field, not that just your conscious is thinking, but the programs that the emotions are holding in the RAS are pulling this in. So the universe will line you to the thing where you have energy loss. And it's not that you have energy loss as much as you placed your energy in a acceptance of belief, and you put your will over here, and you have to become aligned with that. So I had to come into alignment with having a pinched nerve. I had to come into alignment with these discoveries, because how can I really help some people if I don't really experience some things? And grace and ease, please. And the discovery of emotions that you repress, whether good or bad, and how your body will immediately, like, I've been trying to connect to this feeling. And people may feel like, well, I just can't feel love, or I feel so disassociated, or I feel like, I want to have sex and I want to have pleasure, but I can't seem to get. We put up these repressions because we couldn't handle, cope, deal, and pacify then. That energy print that our brain does with our body is consistent. It's keeping us safe. Our nervous system keeps repeating stuff. That over time, it's going to wear down the body. It's like having your foot on the brake and the gas at the same time. Your body's like, oh my God, we can't keep going this way. So a lot of you have heard that, okay, there's incest and molestation and rape, but I always thought it started at 5. And part of the adventure that I have been on, it came to the realization of memory versus there's a knowing memory and a fear of creating a future of it. This was whoa. I wasn't scared of it anymore because I've gone through so much resolving, healing, growing. And the shock value is what one of the things that we learned this week, and Amy knows, is that there's actually a whole lot of shit that's coming to the surface, and it feels like Mother Earth has got a heartbeat. And as she has this heartbeat, it's like it brings up another issue, it brings up another issue, and it's like this one's connected to this one, this one's connected to this one. One of them is shock. Do we really have to go there? Do we really have to be so shocked, which is that form of rejection that it hits our core, it makes us respond? Do we really have to go there? And I've learned that I don't have to be that response. And I was like going, I'm like, wait, really? No, and so the different tools and things, I'm like, wow. Yeah, so it puts you, once you start to really heal these things, you don't have to, you can wake up and become aware. Wait, I don't have to be an auto response. And shock value has been that precise moment when you first had the experience and you didn't know what to do with it because, wait, what? That action needs to be healed. It's not every shock. It is that first response of shock. the first response when you realize the love that you have for your mom and dad, and your mom gets pissed and you're like, and it hurts so freaking deep. Or a realization that they're human, and, and it's a shock that, like, the biggest shock that I've had was, hey, your mom's got cancer and she's going to die. Wait, what? The shock value on that was so tremendous. It had done a number on me like you wouldn't believe. And I remember it not based on the emotion where I remember it, it controls me. It is a choosing to remember it so that I don't have to go there again. Yes, that was the worst. That was the benchmark. That was, wow. Now I don't need to chase. Now, if you understand addictions, you're chasing your next high. But with shock and those type of things, you also chase the next shock. You also chase the next fight. Do you understand? But if you begin to notice, do I really need, this is the difference between you and drugs, okay? Drugs gives that sensation that there's a calm, that everything's fine. It's a big hug. It's like, oh, okay, take a breath while this hell happens. Just like with the pain I was having, and it's like, oh, okay, whew, the pain's gone. I can handle this. And so what do? Well, when you begin to notice that you chase the next shock, and I didn't catch this until a while ago, and it was, what's worse? Flippant language. What's worse? Sudden death or long-term illness? And that was actually a form of a question to some degree, which the universe can answer, which I found out, oh shit, my sister had cancer, got well, get in a car accident, survived, had to induce her in a coma, bring her out just to tell her, we can't make you live and you can't live this way. So she's going to have to die. We're going to pull, I have never heard in my entire life, you can't induce her forever. You can't give her a transplant. You can't do this. You can't do that. No, they said her body was so badly damaged. And she was only in there for a few days. I'm thinking, you can't even let the body recover for a few weeks. I didn't get to say, nobody would, I had a hate group. Nobody would actually let me talk to her when they woke her up to say goodbye. Nor did I ask. Because I had been asking, how about if we do this? Can we use some tools on her? Can we do it? No. Oh, don't be silly, just stupid. No, I don't have time for that. And you don't realize. So shock can be in the way. And so what's worse? Well, my sister won. What's worse? Knowing that, there could be a long-term illness, it could be a sudden death, or it could be you have to terminate even though you're still alive. That sounds like execution more than anything. But that one won. So I don't really want to ask the next question. I don't have to put it in a shock value of going, oh my God. Because there can be always another answer on top of that. So I don't need to chase that. And the best part, let me, yes, it does sound shocking, but because I have tools and I've done a lot of use with those tools, my mother had passed in 92, and my mother had left me presents. Years later, as I moved to Australia, she talks from the other side, and she had actually left me a hat. Well, she taught my sister how to do the same thing, because every time I would go walking in Adelaide, Bonita. I'm like, Jesus, my sister's everywhere here. And I'd take a side street and there was, her name. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, she's getting good at this. And then, this is how good I know my mother and my sister are now. When me and my husband was walking and traveling, and we were hiking, steep cliff, going to the falls, Mackenzie Falls. We get to Mackenzie Falls. Now, this is after a good hour and a half or two, whatever, of trekking that track. And I'm like, it's getting dark. And I notice this sweater sitting there. And I'm like, people are leaving. Hey, is this yours? No, no. Oh, I wonder if there's a return place where you can, lost and found. So I took it with me. And I realized, well, nope, there's no lost and found. Oh, well, on the way back, see, I had tied it and I thought it came untied. And then I get to our car. My husband says, well, where's the sweater? I says, oh my God, I must have lost it. Oh, well, no big deal. And my husband was like going, no, I have to go get it. I go, you don't have to. No, I have to. There's a knowing. I said, well, all right. So he goes trekking back. And he comes back and his face was like, I'm like, what? He says, what? Did you read the name on the inside of somebody has their name in it? Oh, no, I didn't. Oh, who is it? He turns it around. It's my sister, Benita. Of course, I could feel her presence so strong, I started bawling my ass off because it was just amazing. So she had gone to Mackenzie Falls with me in Australia. But it is getting back to the fact is that you have to be careful what you say. And if you don't realize that you're putting yourself in alignment with good and bad, answering old questions, resolving old questions. Like I had thought it was 5 years old that I was molested. And it wasn't, it was 4. Freaked the shit out of me. But at the same time, it's like, wait, no, I don't have to be shocked. But now my body's like going, good, now you can heal this, this, and this. And the biggest thing that I've been doing is like, I have something wrong with my thyroid, but I don't, which is complete loss of power. In the world of cancer, if you have thyroid cancer, it is that your brain is marking that there's a conflict. There was something that was very shocking. And then the corresponding body part happened to be the thyroid. And that represents power loss. And I kept getting all the signs from people. The spirit kept saying, power loss, thyroid. But I mean, even to the point where I opened up my phone and all of a sudden somebody had tried to advertise something for thyroid balancing as I'm looking at my, usually it's Amy's face, my daughters and my husband. And then all of a sudden at the top, it was thyroid. Well, I couldn't mistake that one. And I said, okay. And so then I had a patient or client or whatever you want to call it, and it was thyroid. I'm like, really? Okay, so all I've been doing is been healing power loss or powerless. And I mean, it's in situations, not just with people. I feel powerless when my physical body felt like I couldn't do anything about it. That nerve. I mean, all the tools I have, I'm like, why isn't this working? It was meant to show me on a deeper scale. So there's so many interesting things that can happen in your world. You just have to become more awake and aware. And when you become awake, it's not about, I do spirituality. No, that part of awake has to do with, oh my God, I see things so differently. A huge part is coming from Michigan to Australia. We all do things so differently everywhere, but yet there is a very consistency of what we're allowed to see in our own country. But at the same time, you're like, whoa, amazing. Wow. But I don't have to live in the shock. It is, I'm becoming awake to things that I haven't seen before. And I'm not talking about conspiracies. I'm not talking about that. I am talking about hitting a knowing inside of you. That when you start to see it, you can't unsee it. It's not ego mindset of conspiracies or any of that. That's not at all. And then you become aware patterns, behaviors, energy loss. You can read synchronicities and signs. But it's not just about synchronicity and signs, because I was aware, but I wasn't awake. And then when I started to become awake and aware, then there was this wisdom that just came coming in this settlement within myself. It was the wisdom alignment. So that's what's important to understand. Okay. And so how are we doing out there Oh, let me just check and see here. You guys are good. See, patterns of energies and cycles of not just of my own, but I can see others. I can see how my inner world creates my outer world. And it's not about going, oh, okay, I'm going to blame that. It has, oh my God, I had believed this way, but do I really need to? Learning the tools to disengage that, to stop chasing the next trauma, stop chasing. The huge part, I'm just going to tell you this little insight that because my world goes fast. I had found when I started to dig in and spirits was really revealing things, all of a sudden it was, oh my God, I can never be skinny or healthy because of the rape that had happened when I was younger, because I don't want to attract the wrong kind. If somebody saw me as healthy or thin or good hip bones for popping out those kids, I mean, there's phrases and things that, oh, good Lord. Now, see, right now I can feel a heart palpitation going on. It's like a really weird feeling inside of me. So, but I stopped and I said, wait a minute. I'm 53 years old. Do I really need to keep holding those patterns? No. There is a point and a time when it no longer serves. But when it no longer serves, here's the problem. Instead of giving you protection and safety and security, you are now losing more power, which then it goes into reverse, which causes you to actually get more hurt from carrying something that no longer serves. And you're like, oh my God. So how many times have you need to do something, but you refuse to open that door to a new beginning? It's not because you're afraid that certain things are going to end. It has to do with, I see this as the end and not the beginning. We call it the unknown. We call it very fearful unknown. But if you become awake and aware, see, I do a tribe every, I have to do the card one, but I do this tribal thing. You get 4 videos and interactions and other things. It's a tribal thing, 36 a month. During that, people are coming and going because they have a life, and I want people to go thrive. I want people to go live. And then they'll come back and go, hey, I want to join again. Great, do so. They're coming and going. It's not a big deal because I want to see you thrive. I want to see you move. So when people come into the tribe and where do they go? All of a sudden they just disconnected me. Holy crap. Okay. When spirit does that, that means there's something else important that I'm supposed to pay attention to. What is it? I have no clue. Give me a second. Where were we going? What was I even talking about?
Tribal.
Yeah, but well, tribal. It wasn't just about doing videos.
People disconnecting, people coming and going.
Right, but that's not where I know they were going somewhere else. I actually saw they were going somewhere else, and all of a sudden they shut that down. They shut it down. They went, I'm like, why'd you do that? Good God. Okay. But the tribal is important. The tribal is important to me, but the tribal is important to you if you're very serious. If you come and go, no big deal. In the tribal, it's a chance for healing. It's a chance for helping you get the taste of, okay, I can get the tools, that I can see the awareness, that I can wake up and know I can make a difference in my world. Okay. I have no idea. Spirit just went, fine. All right. I'm going to check my inbox and we may all of a sudden start seeing. Yeah. Was it headed to? Because Lane said, seeing other pattern cycles. I don't even know where it's going. Oh, Melinda says the devil you know versus the devil you don't. Interesting. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Wait, I haven't been on my computer for how many days now? Apparently a lot. Oh, I gotta catch up here. Oh man. Okay, I gotta figure out where I'm at.
Pamela, that's normal.
What's happening?
She was the other night during the meditation, she was tingling.
Oh, excellent, excellent. That's a good thing. That's a good thing, because when you have because when the energy's set up, you're welcome to come onto the grid with me. Some people are ready. Some people need to watch it again, or some people, and all of a sudden a certain tingling sensation, a light codes have got turned on, a DNA activation might occur. You're coming into a particular alignment. You're grabbing your keys and your tools. Even if you feel like you're not ready for them, they're there waiting for you. And you will start to feel like, I don't know if you've ever noticed, like you can walk by certain things and you'll feel this magical aspect of energy. It's like it tingles, or it's strange. Yeah, you will have these little tiny things that'll begin to happen to you. Now, if you have trouble sleeping, the best thing to do is start doing the free healing tool on my website, medicinewomansolution.weebly.com, and look for jet lag. Start resetting your circadian rhythms. I have to keep resetting mine because of the drugs that were in my system. But I am sleeping better. But my nervous system is like going, it's hit the stage now that okay, so I had how I used to feel, and then I had pain. So the pain is really bad, and how I used to feel is no big deal. And now that the drug is coming off my system, it feels what I was so used to is now really bad. But it's just that my body is saying, oh, you need something. So it's another form of craving. We have to take care of that side effect. And you're like, oh, God. Kelly says, is it okay to do the gate point starting on left side? I'm not sure about that, because I didn't develop that. But according to some of the theories in the structure, they're talking about always starting on the right side. But I can tell you through energy medicine and energy work, if you feel that your energy field has been flipped, like I had organs in the wrong places, doesn't mean there's anything wrong with me. Sometimes when you're tapping, all of a sudden you feel like you need to switch. So if you feel called to start on the left side versus the right, I would say then go for it. The more attuned you become with yourself, the more all of a sudden you'll know exactly, oh, no, that's better for me. Because like in cross crawl, when you're crossing the brain over, you have to actually go in the homolateral state and start to notice, oh, that don't feel right. And then you start to correct it. Because when you're in a bad state, that'll feel normal. And the good state will feel bad. But you're trying to get to the good state, which means you have to sometimes begin to notice, oh, I got to correct this. Kelly, you're okay. Okay. You're probably, your intuition had got you started on doing the left side. Just try it on the right. Begin to notice. You do no damage. When you're doing healing and you're tapping and you're doing things, if it works, it works. Okay. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You have to understand there is a wheel, not the circadian rhythm, but the wheel. There's an energy wheel, and it goes very intricate, and it goes around forwards, backwards, and when it gets stuck and becomes stagnant, and when there's invading energies, when you have all these things, and even if you're like, okay, I've rubbed the wrong way or I've done it, no, you're creating energy to flow, and it'll go exactly where it needs to go. You don't really create an excess unless you're constantly, like with that pinched nerve, pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. You don't need to do that. Okay. Your body innate is an incredible. It's just incredible. And so that body's innate will really help you like you've never thought of before. And it is very important. So anyways, I'd like to know about Helena. She's paid a donation. What does she want? Okay, she didn't leave a message. So Helena, because see, there's a love donation. People have been asking. A love donation can be that you just want to support me, and you want nothing out of it because you have already gotten something out of it. If you decide you want to give a few dollars, I can, and it depends on what you want done with it. I can add a few minutes to your 1 minute free read. Whereas you can also just pay $23 and you get 8 minutes right up front. So there's just different ways that we can do with this donation.
Yeah, no, I don't have an email.
Okay. How do I heal
somebody's spinning in the room.
What's that?
Somebody's spinning. Probably need it spin.
All right. So Amy's learning about her energy field, and she says somebody has been spinning. So if you feel like your head is spinning, it's not per se as much as maybe it could be colloquial, your ear that's causing the spinning. But this, how would you explain this type of spinning versus,
It kind of feels like my brain has lifted up and is doing somersaults in my head. It's just kind of a light, floaty.
It's a form of a spin out, but it's not like where you have to be nauseous. Is the nauseous involved? No. Okay, so that's a very good clarification, because say when you are having vertigo or when you're having your spinning in that type of way the ear is, you will get a whole physical sensation. Sometimes the spinning sensation that happens that she's referring to is that your polarity's off, or something is causing you to not feel like you can cope, handle, and deal with something, or stay focused.
And I want to say it's Michelle. Because she sent me a text and she said she wasn't feeling well.
So chances are it is by association then on this one. How do I heal Autumn says, how do I heal a heart jump when I hear loud? Okay, so here's the thing. When you become startled too easy, I want you to pay attention to your breath. Okay, if you go, okay, or if you go, what happens is if you're on the in-breath, you're going to take that startledness and drive it deeper. Now, this helps incredibly when you put your hand over your mouth, because it actually helps stop you from driving it deeper. But if you can get yourself to giggle, okay, if you can get yourself to giggle, train yourself to go, what happens is the giggle creates a disrupt pattern, so the body does not have to hold the startle or hold it to show up later. So the air intake, because you're talking about a penetrating vessel energy, which is one of the primal energies we came in with as we were born. So it goes across the face. So when you do this and you're breathing, you are actually helping to protect yourself. It becomes an innate healing without you knowing it. The giggle creates the disrupt is as if it's like tapping. It helps to change the process. So when you get startled, you're going to have to notice. Okay, well, wait, hey, Daniel, if you come back, we may still be here. Um, I froze. I was talking about something before I got distracted.
About being startled
Yeah.
and laugh.
Yeah, startled. So the thing is, you're paying attention well tonight. Yay. Okay. So startled. That usually will be something that you need to work on, heal on, like with hope therapy or tapping it out, because you're telling yourself you had an emotional event that you couldn't resolve, and therefore your guard and your alarms are up, and your focus is somewhere else. And because of this, so when things go off, it can affect you big time. You know, it's like being skittish. It's like because it's the way the energy is in and out. So that would have to be more of a personal read.